Rejoice, Bannerlords! The bandit apocalypse is finally over, and villagers everywhere can now get to town a lot more often. And my God, let's just pray for those poor Khazate villagers, because the steppe bandits are out there spawning like locusts. Oh my God, they were getting massacred, and I did everything I could to help them, but they were just spawning in numbers that there's just no way to stop them. We got a new patch over here on the beta branch. Version 1.3.2 brings in some great changes, but the best one of all is the end of the bandit apocalypse. And we'll just go through these patch notes. I'm not going to do a full playthrough right now because I think there's going to be at least a few more patches. I'm hoping anyway. I mean, it's Tail World, so you never know. Speaking of Warsails, I don't know if you guys saw the gameplay showcase. And I got to tell you, if it plays anything like it looks, this is a lot better than I was even expecting. Can I be honest with you about that? I mean, this is really impressive to me. Now, there's still a lot that the base game needs to make it better and make the end game better, but those improvements have been coming. And I got to tell you, just taking a spin here on the 1.3.2 beta, game feels pretty good. There's a lot of quality of life improvements that, I've brought into the game with mods and stuff that I think should be brought into the base game. Specifically in regards to party composition and garrison composition, I think there needs to be just a little more options so that you can really set your parties and garrisons up the way that you want. Because the battles are the best part of Bannerlord, and these sea battles coming in. Family. Oh my God. I am so excited. Look at this. Look how good this looks. Look at the water. I mean, it looks spectacular. Look at these ships going to war. Oh, dude, I am so jacked. Here we come for the ram. We're coming in. We're hitting him with the ballista. Now watch. Gonna come in here with the big ram and give up. Yeah, drop them sails. Here we come. It's gonna be a doozy. Boom, bitch. Say hi to Davy Jones. Oh, Banner Bros. I am jacked. It looks fantastic. November 26th. Get ready, baby. Back to the patch notes. The big news here is that we have the addition of fast mode. Now, I don't really give a shit about fast mode, and I will never use it. In my opinion, a Bannerlord campaign is meant to be savored, not devoured. So I'm not really interested in fast mode. I will never play in fast mode, but apparently some of you guys are very excited about it. I saw people on the forums were like, this is just what Bannerlord needed. So, hey, if this is you, I'm happy for you. I always try to keep it in my head that the world doesn't revolve around the great Bobo Khan, even though I think it probably should. What a wonderful world it would be. A big change here is that now tribute is limited to 100 days. I think this is a great change. Infinite tribute just drained the AI and they just never seem to be able to bounce back. 100 days is fair. These call to war adjustments and stuff, these are always hard to really get a feel for in one playthrough. But I will say overall, the AI puts together much bigger armies and is much more effective with them. Stealth missions got some updates. Now your sneak attacks grant roguery, prison break missions grant roguery, and hideouts grant roguery. So it's a good way to level your roguery. Now, 1,000 roguery really isn't that much. The best way to level roguery in my experience is just fight with bandit troops, do some raiding, and set up a couple allies. That's going to level your roguery up very quickly. The big problem with the hideout missions is it's not only this is 1,000 roguery is nothing, but the other side of it is the loot is awful. You'll clear a whole bandit hideout with a bunch of guys. And I mean, that's a pretty nice time investment to sneak around and chop all the guys. And, oh, you forgot one. So you got to run all the way to the front and chop him down before you can come send the signal flare. You do all of that and you get 1,000 roguery, which is nothing. And the loot is awful. I mean, just this whole bandit hideout that's been dominating this whole area, and they've got 2 grain, 6 fish, a sumpter horse, and 2 or 3 date buckets. It's like, what? What is going on here? One of the changes they've really been trying to make in this beta is they've really tried to tune the AI so that it expands more naturally at its borders. And I have to say, that was the case in the games that I've played. One of the things here where it says armies and parties are more likely to defend their settlements against sieges, I don't know what the issue is here. It seems to be that the AI doesn't update its assessment of the problem, because you'll see an AI army coming right past another army that's sieging its castle, and it'll pass the army that's sieging its castle and just go siege another castle. In the 3 playthroughs I've done on the 1.3 beta, I see a lot of what I call fief swapping, where, you know, a Sturgian army attacks an Imperial castle, and the Imperials go attack a Sturgian castle, and then they both take them, and then they go siege the other one. To me, the armies need to be made to look for other armies first. It does seem like sometimes armies aren't aware of each other on the map. So that seems to still be a little bit of a problem, but it's much better than it used to be. Early game loot gets reduced, and boy, do you feel it. And I'll tell you, over on the beta, it's more important than ever to get on that Merc contract as soon as you hit Clan Tier 1, because you are just not rolling in the dough. I'm not a big fan of blanket loot nerfs, but if you are going to have them, then you need to make sure that that randomness and that awesomeness of getting a badass piece early can still happen. Even if you're not getting as much stuff, you should still occasionally, maybe very occasionally, get something awesome. Here's kind of a change in the plus column for loot, is that when you check town markets now, you're going to see a lot more fine, masterwork, a lot more positive modifiers are going to be on the gear there. The troop equipment changes are some of my favorite changes they've made in a while. First up, the Azrai Mamluk Guard loses the two-handed axe and gains a two-handed mace. A little bit of a nerf because axes cleave, but I think the two-handed mace fits this unit much better. I think it looks fantastic on them. And now you can just, I mean, between all the javelins and good archers, and now these guys come in with just some massive blunt damage. Really incredible. And I think it fits this unit very well and makes them unique and awesome. And that's what I like. I like unique units. The interesting thing when it comes to two-handed maces is that you'll see here with the first one, the mallet head, and you can make it nice and big, right? Is that you get this knockdown effect right here. And it basically ragdolls whatever you hit. It's such a powerful and cool ability, but you quickly find out as you scroll through all the other mace head options that none of them offer this knockdown effect, which is a tragedy. And it's one of the things that keeps two-handed axes so dominant. The cleave attack from axes is so much better than, you know, stabbing with two-handed swords or getting all the blunt damage from maces. But if you could come in here and give them a knockdown effect, I think that at least gives them something to compete with the, you know, axe cleave, because axe cleave is just insane. But you can see very clearly that this Mamluk Guard and his big ass mace are not to be messed with. And I mean, it's got 131 length, which makes it not only good for busting up the guys in front of them, but reaching up there and bopping those cavalrymen too. Now it's time to talk to all my Fiend sluts out there. Got thousands of hours of Bannerlord play and about 80% of it's Britannia playthroughs. You know who you are. Well, guess what? Britannia just got more awesome. I know it's hard to believe, but look right here. You'll remember the Fauxman, right? And he had just the basic Faux, and you'll see the length 89, but it's got that 101 swing speed, so they really get around on it. But you'll remember the veteran Fauxman always upgraded to that Ramphia, which was pretty nice in field battles. I think, especially now that cavalry's a lot better than it used to be. However, pretty disappointing in siege battles. So what a lot of people would do is they would just leave them here at the Fauxman because they wanted the two-handed unit. They didn't want a polearm unit, right? Now you don't have to do that. You just go ahead and upgrade them. And now we've got this long Faux coming in. And look at this bad boy. 111 length, 95 swing damage. And remember, the Faux blades also do a little extra damage to shields. Long Falx blade. Look at that. And right there, you get that little shield icon right there. Bonus against shields. And so now we got those Fiends, and God knows you guys got your Fiends, don't you, Battania mains? And they're pumping you full. You come to charge into the lines, and now you got these wildlings slinging these 117 pierce hook javelins, nightmares coming in on their lines, right? And then you got the Oathsworn with their spears ready to stand your cavalry up and let them get pumped. And then if you get through all of that, guess who's coming to mop up? Big Falxman here with this Long Falx, and he's still got these throwing axes, and he just looks badass. What a great addition to the Battanian roster, and what an improvement for the veteran Falxman. The Sturgian roster got some updates too, and they're mostly great. The first one here, the Heavy Axeman. Now, we talked about this in a video I did called Sturgia Divided, and I said, look, there still needs to be some changes to the Sturgian roster just to delineate them out from the Nords a little bit more. There's been some changes, but a little bit more. One of the problems is that the Heavy Axemen had like a goggled helm, so they just looked like Nord units. I mean, they just looked exactly like Sea Raiders. Well, now the helm's gone, and they basically give them the helm that the Spearmen had, so there's a little more uniformity and a little more of a Sturgian look throughout the infantry line now. So the Axeman gets a new helmet. The Noble Tree, Druzinic champions, they get on their horse a little faster now. I actually am not as thrilled with this change. I kind of like the upgraded Variag veteran, especially in the early game. Even at tier 4, they were wildly effective units. But now they become a cavalry unit much faster. Here's the Brigand, and he gets these really nice 101 pierce broadblade javelins. Then if we upgrade to the Horse Raider, we keep the awesome javelins, but now we also get this fine steel hewing spear. Look at that, 216 length. These guys are really good skirmisher cab. I have no problem with them, and this spear is really nice, especially now that the AI is better with the spears. The whole issue I've ever had with these guys are these unarmored horses. I mean, fellas, we got crossbows, fiends, Consguard. I mean, Calradi and battlefields are no place for an unarmored horse. Here's the change I hate the most. Heroic Linebreaker turns his axe in just like the Mamluk Guard did, and he gets a two-handed mace as well. No, no, fuck no. Let's go all the way back to Warband, where we're recruiting some Vagar troops, and let's just level them up together. You ready? Here's the first level up. What do you notice? Oh, he's got a giant axe. Okay. Let's level him up again. Now what's he got? Better armor and a giant axe. Let's level him up one more time to be the highest level Vagar infantry unit. What does he have? Really good armor and a two-handed axe. And don't forget the Vagar Knights. Badass armor and a two-handed axe. It is completely unacceptable for the Sturgian Linebreaker to lose his two-handed axe. Look, I get that we want to delineate the Sturgians from the Nords, but let's be honest, there's going to be a lot of overlap between these factions, and there should be. They're both in the north. It's cold as hell. There's trees everywhere. We got to make a lot of fire and shelter, right? There's going to be axes all over the damn place. I'm going to start a whole Heroic Linebreaker campaign. Just say no to maces. That's what it's going to be, because unacceptable. I do not like this at all. This guy needs to have a massive battle axe. It's exactly what he needs. He deserves it. He's handsome as hell. I'd love these guys. Where are we getting? 152-handed and a Bardiche, if you ask me. And you just set these monsters out on your enemies. Oh, and last thing to mention, the Sturgian Spearman. Look at my boy. He gets javelins. So he's got an awesome spear. He's got one of those awesome shields. Let me just tell you something. You guys are out of your damn minds about these kite shields on the Sturgians. They look so badass. So badass. And the shit banging off my metal shield while I'm running around kicking ass and taking names. Oh, Sturgia is badass as ever, and they look phenomenal, and that's what it is. Nice equipment changes, except for the Linebreaker. I do not accept a two-handed mace on my Linebreakers at all. I reject this. No. No, no, no. Give me an axe or give me death when it comes to my Linebreakers. Unacceptable. But all these other changes, and especially this Long Falx, I'm ready to check these guys out. Think we should give those higher tier mace heads the ability to cause knockdown. I think it would be a nice addition and make up a little bit for not having the axe cleave. Imperial Legionnaires will throw their pilums, which is great, but they keep one to defend against potential cavalry attacks. First off, hell no. Okay, if I tell you to throw your pilums as the commander, you throw your fucking pilums. This is a commander decision. You don't get to decide. I get to decide. So just on that alone, I'm a little offended. But it is true that without their pilums, Legionnaires are not nearly as effective against cavalry. And now with the cavalry improvements, it is something to consider for the commander. But these guys on the low level guys, no. If I want you to hold on to your pilums, I'll tell you to hold fire. But if I tell you to throw them, you don't get to hang on to one. I want you slinging those motherfuckers. You hear me? This is a fantastic change. Increase siege preparation duration by 50%. I'd actually like to see this be 100 or 150%. A siege should be a very long, drawn-out thing. The AI needs more time to respond. It just happens too often where these armies are just swapping fiefs back and forth because, a siege takes place before the AI can even mount the defense. So 50% increase is a good start. I'd like to see this go up a little bit more, but this is a good change. This is one of the most amazing changes and impactful changes in this whole patch. Improved couch lance decision-making and aiming. This has greatly improved the effectiveness of couched lance cavalry. So we're talking about your Banner Knights, your Sturgian Druzinic champions, your Azurai Ferris. We are not talking about your Cataphracts, although still an amazing unit and doing work. But the couch lance cavalry, you used to send them into an archer line, or they used to attack your archer line, and you're like, that really wasn't that bad. Well, let me tell you something now. It gets pretty gnarly pretty quick, and you've got to be very careful if you're a primarily infantry army, just letting cavalry run free, because cavalry is knocking shit in the dirt now, and it is very powerful. It's really impressive how much of an improvement and how much of a change this is. Go ahead and grab you some couch lance cavalry because they will help you win battles even more than before. I mean, they are incredible now. Great improvement to the game. And then we've got a bunch of bug fixes and crash fixes. I will say I hit a situation where all of a sudden my game just kept crashing over and over and over and over. And I was like, well, I don't have any mods or anything. So I ended up going back to a much earlier save and just going back from there. And then I haven't had any problems. So overall, the beta has been very stable for me, except for the one nightmare scenario bug crash thing that I ran into where I just could not continue my campaign. Overall, greatly improved, but there does seem to be some trouble in there somewhere. I'm sure they'll get it sorted out. I am super jacked for Warsails, but my official position on Bannerlord hasn't changed. I think it needs a lot more TLC. If you're going to bring the DLC in, that's fine. Let's just bring it in. Let's bring in the Nords. But once you launch your Warsails, I'm really hoping that Tail Worlds is going to stick around and really tune this game up because they didn't last time. They went off on a new project or whatever, and, the past is the past. We're here now. But my expectation is that they're going to be here and really tune this game up after Warsails launches. So, I'm excited for Warsails. You should be too. These are some nice changes on the beta, but we need a little more TLC to really bring this thing into what it could be, which is kind of scary. Love the direction we're going. Love the content that's coming in. Let's keep it going, Bannerlords. Good luck on your campaigns, and I'll talk to you soon. Oklahoma out.